They can't even define what a woman is. Can't even.
Things are absolutely crazy right now, so I figured we would check in on some of the most bizarre clips to come out of the Republican National Convention this week. So over the past couple of days, I have unfortunately spent a little too much time on Twitter, and I've collected various links. So let's start with this. I saw this guy, and I thought, oh, look at that. There's a comedian who snuck into the convention. There he is on the convention floor mocking Donald Trump. No, turns out he is just a cult member. CBS News talked to him.
All sorts of things, among other things, the fashion of the delegates. And I want to point out the latest trend that we spotted. This is Joe Neglia from
Tempe, Arizona.
This is your first convention?
Well, the first one I attended, I was elected in 2022, but that one was canceled because of COVID.
And I noticed what you're wearing on your right ear.
This is the newest fashion trend. I'm getting this going. Everybody in the world is going to be wearing these pretty soon. It's the latest thing. My wife tells me I dress like an engineer, but I'm setting new fashion ground here. So.
And you just made this in your hotel room today with an envelope or what?
No, I folded it up on the bus on the way here.
Okay. Joe, thank you for that. We're tracking all sorts.
They also showed this at the end? Okay. Like maybe this guy's just having some fun. Whatever. He's just having a good time. Let's get to some politicians though. Here's Jim Justice. I guarantee you will not know where this clip is going if you have not already seen this.
Line to every single thing that's going on in this great country today is one thing. We become totally unhinged if Donald Trump is not elected in November.
There's just a dog chilling on the seat beside him. This is apparently his dog, baby dog, I think he calls him. This was apparently a thing people knew about already. If anything, this is the most heartwarming part of the entire convention so far. It was just a really funny time to cut to that wide shot. Here is Rudy Giuliani. This was caught on the convention floor. Now, honest to God, when I first saw this, I thought, oh my God, is he okay? Is he having a medical emergency? And then I remembered that, oh, it's Rudy Giuliani. This guy is drunk all the time. So he probably just collapsed into some chairs after having a few too many drinks. All right, here is Nikki Haley. Brian Tyler Cohen posted this back-to-back, watching the difference between February and July.
Of course, many of the same politicians who now publicly embrace Trump privately dread him. They know what a disaster he's been and will continue to be for our party. They're just too afraid to say it out loud. Well, I'm not afraid to say the hard truths out loud. I feel no need to kiss the ring.
Donald Trump has my strong endorsement, period.
I feel no need to kiss the ring.
I mean, who didn't see this coming? This is what Republicans have been doing since 2016. Talking shit, pretending that they're the ones to stand up to Trump. Remember Ted Cruz back in 2016? And then they just go on to kiss his ass. Here's I'm going to get a couple angles on this one. So this is Matt Gaetz trying to interrupt Kevin McCarthy during a CNN interview.
A united party like we haven't been in the past. One who's not coming back, and then the other part that you have, and the other part you have is one person who raised the issue. He's got an ethics complaint about sleeping with a 17-year-old. So that's the way they would go. So that's the biggest challenge we have.
It's funny he's responding to Gaetz there about that 17-year-old comment. When on the CNN feed, you don't even really know what Gaetz is saying. You just know he's. I mean, maybe you know if you knew it was Gaetz. You knew someone's there heckling him. You can't really tell unless you pause it that it's Matt Gaetz's head. But here is another angle of this.
You would get booed off the stage.
Shut up, Gaetz.
Don't be an asshole. Dude, I don't even know who you are. It doesn't fucking matter. Don't be an asshole. Yeah, I'm just standing here. So don't be an asshole.
Here is this again, just funny. Listen to the voice crack as he is making this statement.
They can't even define what a woman is.
They can't even define what a woman is.
They can't even define what a woman is.
I could say more, but I'll hold it back. Here is Brennan Murphy again, sharing. He put this together. The DeSantis licked his lips 16 times during his speech. Oh my God. Okay. What a weird little man. Here is JD Vance during an interview on Fox News. Keep in mind, these freaks try to claim, oh, we are so anti-war. Donald Trump, the most anti-war president, almost started a war with Iran when he killed their top general, not to mention using the mother of all bombs. Anyways, not anti-war. Obviously, anyone knowing anything, paying attention would know this. But here is a JD Vance making it very clear that they are not anti-war.
A lot of people recognize that we need to do something with Iran, but not these weak little bombing runs. If you're going to punch the Iranians, you punch them hard, and that's what he did when he took out Soleimani.
There we go. He brings up Soleimani. Not these weak little bombing runs. You punch them hard. So a Trump administration, a second one, is going to once again continue pushing Iran and punching them hard. Is this the kind of escalation that people are clamoring for? Here is this clip. Again, great directing here as the camera pans to the crowd after this comment.
I heard a little bit earlier today, if you don't vote for Donald Trump, you ain't black. But see, here's the thing.
Pans to the all-white crowd. Unbelievable. Oh, I see it. A person of color, but they're working the floor. It's not an attendee of the convention. All right, here is Mitch. This is just something to warm all of our hearts. Mitch McConnell getting booed by the crowd. This is a guy who has done so much for the conservative movement, especially as it applies to the Supreme Court judges. He has done so much, way more than anybody else. You could argue more than Trump. Yet, because again, politics on the right, at least Republican politics, it's not about even policy, even judges, even wins, the clear wins that they were given here by McConnell. It's all about the culture. And Mitch McConnell right now is not popular because he has criticized Trump a few times, even though he continues to endorse him and support his presidency. But because he has made some comments before and they feel like he's the old guard, he's got to go, they are booing him despite all of the wins that he has delivered for them.
Madam Chairman, the Commonwealth of Kentucky proudly cast 46 votes for the next president, Donald J. Trump.
I wonder how he feels. I hope he feels terrible. He has spent his entire life delivering for these lunatics that support his party. And now the chickens have come home to roost. They hate him. I mean, think of I don't know. Is that a fulfilling life, to end your life after, or to reach the end of your life, do everything you can for these people, and they just hate you. Amazing. Now, despite all of this, and by the way, I'm sure that isn't even touching on a whole hell of a lot more that I could have touched on in this video. A lot of bizarre moments during the RNC so far. But despite how ridiculous the party is, the numbers continue getting worse for Joe Biden. Here is a CNN discussing some recent polling.
Hit the map right now. That gets Donald Trump to 303. And there's new polling today that shows the president's approval rating in these battleground states is below 40. The president's ballot number right now is below 40 in most of those states, and it's at 42 in Nevada. It's very hard in 16 weeks. We count the votes 16 weeks from tonight to turn that around. Plus, Democrats are now worried. They think, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but what they're saying is the president's going to have to spend more time and more resources on places like Virginia because it's competitive, on places like New Hampshire because it's competitive. You look at this map as it plays out, and there are Democrats.
New Hampshire is competitive.
It's making the case, and we have Wisconsin blue here. Let's move Wisconsin over here. There are Democrats making the case that Donald Trump is on a viable path as of today to get to 330 electoral votes, Wolf, or even higher, because they see other states in here. The Trump campaign says Minnesota. The Trump campaign says maybe New Mexico. Let's be cautious. Those are blue states traditionally, but the president's standing, his approval rating, his ballot number, people's views about how old he is, and people who view the state of the economy are very bad for the president right now. And so even if you just go back to where we start, Donald Trump is in command. The numbers are getting worse for the president, Wolf, and Donald Trump has an opportunity with this convention to build it even more.
So, look, there are two sides to this. On one hand, it is crazy, absolutely crazy, that a man who denied that he lost the election still denies that he lost in 2020 tried to institute a coup, not even about Jan 6 and those whack jobs on the Capitol, but behind the scenes tried to steal the election. That this man is still popular enough to possibly win in a landslide, despite him clearly being an authoritarian, putting the country underwater, tanking the economy, not taking COVID seriously. Despite all of these massive blows, the clear disaster he was while he was in, the clear coup he tried to implement, despite all of that, he is still winning in a landslide, or right now, on pace to win in a landslide. Joe Biden is not the right candidate. Now, the only hope, and I continue reading stories about this, Democrats are aware. Politicians, people in the House, Senate, they are aware that Joe Biden cannot win. So there is this attempt still behind the scenes to try and do something to stop this, to replace him, either before the convention, at the convention, but whatever has to get done as soon as possible. Because Joe Biden, it appears, still is very intent on staying in the race, despite what everything is telling us. It is, I don't know. It's just, it's infuriating to see somebody who should know better, in Joe Biden, just not be willing to pass the torch like he said he would do. He didn't necessarily say publicly that he would only run 4 years. That was more of a behind-the-scenes story, though it was kind of quasi-confirmed in an interview he did since the debate when he was pushed or asked about that, how he would be a pass the torch, and then a pass the torch candidate or president. And then he went on to say, well, he changed his mind, meaning that I guess he was at some point seriously thinking that he was just going to be there for 4 years. For him to at one point be in that mental headspace and to now be this egomaniac, not to say he wasn't before, but this egomaniac who is just unwilling to look at the facts, The data was very clear in 2020. I did a previous video on this. Biden won by essentially, in terms of the national vote, half of what polling was saying he would. So polling had him up by, I think, like 8 points nationally. He ended up winning around by 3 points, 3 or 4 points. Polling, at least since 2016 especially, has tended to overestimate the turnout for Democrats. Now, it was less of an issue in the midterms. Polling was a little more accurate. But during presidential races, be it 2016, 2020, both times it overestimated the turnout that Democrats would have. Even though luckily it didn't matter in 2020. They came out big enough that Trump lost. But the fact that Trump is winning right now, it's very likely he is actually winning by higher numbers than what we were seeing in polling. And some of that is just, this is recently from Data for Progress. Some of that is because of what people have seen from the debate and since the debate. So among swing voters, 53% are more concerned about Biden's age, while only 37% are more concerned about Trump's criminal charges. This is a 12-point increase in concern for Biden's age since our survey fielded before the debate and Trump's guilty verdicts. So people are becoming more concerned about Joe Biden. The numbers are simply not getting better. They're getting worse.